Yeah, well, my voice is blown out again. That's what he wants. You know why it's so easy to hack your tablets, your cell phones, especially, and just things like that. Because like think about it, when you become a computer manufacturer, you need to batch produce nanotechnology. As if that isn't hard enough or expensive enough, you have to get into the software game of it as well. And where in big large warehouses where these things are factory tuned to by remote control off of one chip that like the old Clipper chip, it connects to, I don't know, a room of 100 phones at a time, or 1,000, or maybe 10,000, maybe even 100,000, where the phones come off the production line as mechanical media, mechanical objects, and they are flash ROMmed. The ROM is flashed by remote control, batch done like that, like pressing records. So what's it, if technology is your gig, like record making is mine, what would you do? You would find the software that remote controls thousands and thousands of these tablets and these cell phones, and it's as easy as that. It's like bringing in a specialized expert to basically destroy, to eat itself in front of you. I don't know. A buffet of children, indeed. But the meal about as a concept never need die. That's inner child shit. That's every girl I've ever had. That's a little bit of Cowie. That's a little bit of Renee. That's a little bit of Summer. That's a little bit of Sue. That's a little bit of every bitch ever. That's a little bit of my sister. That's a little bit of my mother. That's a little bit of everyone. The little girls I see on the street, and I imagine what it's like in their world, and they're all beautiful, 15 years old, walking by. I'm like, that's what it's like in their world. Put it over there, lazy bitch. I want to try some of that. That tastes good. I like that. I like chocolate. I like pizza. I like smoking cigarettes. I like the feeling of this thing inside my pussy. That's what she's thinking. It's every bitch in the world. I'll never let that die. The second you sacrifice, there's no reason to sacrifice that. That's the twisted cane inside a beating heart. That's what it is. That's the calendar girl on my wall that I bust balls to every night. Pull the covers over my head and who's it gonna be tonight? And I don't know what happened to the candy ambulance bitch. That was the quintessential bitch for a minute. She was amazing. She was very Jamie King-like too. Caitlin Barker was her name. A.R. Barker. Barkbox, Squawkbox, all that good shit. Tycoon, the fucking feral Cacoon. Fucking meandering hungry coyote, nosing through the trash. Chick-fil-A bitches like that too. Chick-fil-A, little titty girl. I want to fuck Chick-fil-A real bad, more than anything. I think that would be the one. Yeah, or something, or even the chicken that drunk driving. As hard as that is to watch now, I told you, man, I used to be in touch with the powers that be, and I lost touch with them 25 years ago. It seems like it was slow. Around 2010, we said goodbye, and the hands changed. And they used to call me by a different code name back then. They still use it now, and it has nothing to do with sexual shit. But they when the new crop came in, they would say things like, "Oh, it's good to meet the," But now it's just it ain't any good. The old crew used to love me, gift me with strange videos like that. Did you notice that in the video with Sarah Roberts, where the mother pulls in, which is like Renee's mother, I'm telling you, pulls in the parking lot. She's pulling in the old AT&T switching relay, which is located by my mother's house. And then when she turns the car around, like in a fantastic Cirilimoso dream, she's facing Colony Center or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. I died over by there. I was on the highest point in Colony. I remember looking out onto the city and looking out to the surrounding areas. Yep. Shut the fuck up. But I miss having, yeah, Melissa's gone and Renee's gone, yeah. You couldn't have told us that back then. Yeah, I guess the way me and Albert bonded was early on, and you see what happened to us. Right around the same time, you know. He loved her. But when I think of emo, I think of that girl. Albert loved young pussy. Who doesn't? But that little girl in the alcohol video, the one laying on the couch, that was Renee's favorite part when she used to do that. Pizza. But looking at that girl these days, I'm like, holy shit! I love that little hourglass frame, those little trousers, those delectable titties. Hours and years of fun, extremely long hair, dancing around to fucking the doors and shit. That's my little bitch. Pop that little training bra off, or whatever that is. That's a full. It's almost a B cup, isn't it? Advanced little girl, soiled panties, playing hooky and shit at Daddy's house. Playing hooky and shit. Yeah, get on this dick, little bitch. But the great thing about fucking is Albert knew. He'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna bring over Melissa to cook some dinner, and that was kind of a big deal back then. And shit, I mean, I wish it was. That's what I mean. I wish it was 25 years ago. Albert would just show up, you know. Are you guys gonna eat dinner? Well, let us cook some dinner, because I think Albert was on food stamps too. But he would go, and you know, and then I'd be drinking beer, and I'd be like, wow, I'm hanging out with Renee, and Melissa. And Melissa was great. She was great. So was Renee. But that was important to Albert when he got Melissa. I think he gave Melissa too, a kind of like a family she never had. He would have things like breakfast, which are important. You know, they're nice things to have, order. And he would show her lunch. I always remember breakfast, lunch, and dinner, seeing Albert and Melissa somewhere on the town, or him inviting us to it or telling us about it. He had that. He had order. He used to tell me, he insists on order. And you'd see Melissa out eating breakfast somewhere, eating an expensive egg sandwich, you know, with lots of cheese on it. I'd be starving. I would be fucking famished back then. 140 pounds, size 32 jeans. 140 pounds. Fucking famished. And I'd be like, Melissa, hey Albert, watching Melissa just devour an English muffin with fucking on Canadian bacon with fucking ketchup dripping off it and hot sauce. I'd be like, she'd be like, hi Aaron, you hungry? I'd be like, no, that's okay. You know, hey Aaron, you know. I remember a lot of that. You'd be walking by in the morning, he'd call you over. He'd be in some side street Schenectady cafe. Yo, come on over here. You know, times was tight though. I mean, the best people with money. You know, I always thought Ted and Reva should have got together. I always thought that too. KC was in love with Reva. I loved Reva too in many ways. I mean, we all did. Reva was wicked important, but we never talk about her. Reva was the redhead. The redhead with the thong and the she called herself a pot whore. She was so awesome. And she literally was. She worked hard and she was a good girl. And she was pretty as fuck. She was awesome. She played guitar. And but yeah, she would you know. Last time I seen Reva, though, she was mega skinny with huge titties. Just got back from Hawaii. Was on a beach with some guy for a long time, and she was real skinny. And I was like, Jesus Christ, Reva, you look so fucking... You always look good, but Jesus, fuck. Her long red hair flowing down, big green eyes staring at you like a snake. I fucking loved Reva. I miss Reva. Reva and I were really good friends. Yeah, I can, that would be mind-blowing if me and Ted could track down Reva. That would be awesome. Reva was there for a lot of it. I'd love to talk to Reva when I write my memoirs, and I'd be like, Reeves, tell me everything you remember. I'm going to prompt you. And if we could possibly have a straight face, she probably, I hope she's still alive too, she probably remembers a lot. We spent a lot of time together. Yeah, man. With my IBM 166, fucking, yeah. And my 56K modem. Life couldn't get any better. Dime bag of Chiba from the corner store. That's all you ever needed to get by. And some real audio streams. And you just say, yes. And some pop-up television. Pop-up video on the fucking VH1. Fucking 90s. But Reva and Ted were I admired them the best because they were like me. They shared what they had. Ted would crack open his wallet and you would literally hear angels sing. I would too. My parents were not like that. Ted was like that. We'd be out at a bar and it's like, oh, you need $75 to do something. And I'd be like, oh, okay. Well, let's go somewhere else. Ted would be like, nah, fuck it. And he'd just crack open his shit and pay for it. And you'd be like, oh my God, Theo. And he'd give it just to you. You know? I believe in friendship and love because I had a friend like that. You know, I had friends like Albert and Ted that were just, they were more like brothers or, yeah, they were definitely brothers. And they would share. And what about Tim? I love Tim. The respect is off. The respect, I have issues with Tim. I love Tim, but I refuse to talk about him because what's there to say? Tim is Tim. You know, Tim is... it's like talking about Sue or something. It's impossible to say anything about it. It's like talking about Rich. There's very little to say. I mean, there's a lot of big feelings there. I love Tim. You got any hard feelings with him? Tim could, you know, but Tim's a man, and Tim is brute. He could be brute. He could be very. He's intimidating. If you cross him the wrong way and you do something, he will. You know. I love Tim. Tim is doing what he said he always was going to do. You know. He wanted to be Muscle Shoals, and he wanted to be Gold Star Studios, and that's what he is. That's what I am, too. And certainly Theo. But, I mean, Theo doesn't get enough praise because out of all of us, well, Tim's got a special guitar, too, and so does Alex. But Ted, I'd say, is the most proficient, the most Kirk Hammett, the most impeccable of all, the most brilliant star would be Ted. You put a guitar in his hand. You put an acoustic in his hand. And it's just like, you have a knack for it. And you study him after 20 years go by, and you're like, I never see him fiddling with tunings, never. He just picks it up off the ground and starts strumming, and it just sounds like you're amazing. That instrument, he's an angel with a harp. We all are, but he's the most tidy of all of us. Yeah, those were the days. And Ted remembers Reva. Shan remembers Reva. I mean, if I was to put, just want to put a book together.